Coach Damon Floyd Show, brought to you by Bank of Cleveland this week. We appreciate Bank of Cleveland stepping up and having us out here on our programs there. And Coach, we'd like to begin first with congratulations. Big win, you're 3-0 on the season. 7th win in a row over Cleveland High School. And the big thing is a region win on the road. It doesn't get much bigger than that with a rivalry game, and we'll be talking about another rivalry game here a little bit later on. But defense wins games at any level in football. And I thought our defense, they had so many outstanding plays. We're going to touch on a bunch of them, but I thought, which play, I guess, to you seemed like the one that was, I'll tell you, our player of the game was Landon Price's pick six.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that one, I think, just from knowing, well, it just went to 2-score game late in the game. It's like, okay, this may have sealed the deal. So all of them were huge throughout the game. And our defense has played good at times. There's still some things that we would like to shore up. But, you know, it's high school football, and kids are going to make mistakes. They make mistakes in the NFL. So we understand that's part of the game. But, you know, we're just going to continue to try to keep getting better and better and improve on the mistakes we're making. And hopefully, you know, it'd be nice to have a couple more pick sixes throughout the season. I think we went like 15 years and may have had a handful of them. And the last, you know, first 3 games we've had 4. So it's really nice. You know, the linebackers did a really good job of dropping into coverage. Our secondary, you know, was really focused on not getting beat over the top. So we knew some of those underneath throws would be there, and they did a good job of dropping and getting in those lanes and not only making the catch, but taking it to the house, which are huge.
It was huge. We named that and said the play of the game because I think there's nothing more deflating for an offense than have a pick six. They're driving for a tying score. And all of a sudden, now they're down 14. It's fourth quarter. It's late in the game. That pretty much sealed that right there. Another big play, Knox Watson, a pick six when they were in their own territory, I guess, at that time. Excuse me there. But we named him our player of the game. He had 13 tackles, I think 7 and 6 as a breakdown on solo and assist. But he had a great game, and the whole defense did. The goal line stand. I mean, that's pretty strong when you can give them a first down inside the 5 and then 4 straight plays you stop. That's deflating as well, the offense. And it pumps up your defense, though, at the same time.
Well, you talked about Knox Watson. He did have 13 tackles. He had a pick 6. He also had a fumble recovery.
Oh, yes, he did,
also was the guy on 3rd down that when Lambert did keep it, he's the one that came at a huge hit, which knocked his helmet off, and Lambert had to come out, which once Lambert came out, we kind of sent the house because it's like they're not going to throw it. We don't think they're going to throw it, and luckily they didn't. And Marcus made a huge sack blitzing off the backside. So Knox played really well. He's a kid that works really hard. Another one, you know, we talked about Jackson last week, reaping what he sows. Knox is one of those kids too. He's always here, usually before I am in the mornings, and running on the road and in the weight room. And you know, he does a lot of stuff on his own to try to prepare himself and physically and mentally. But I was happy to see Knox, you know, not only get the pick 6, but obviously just play a complete game. I made a lot of tackles, and he's all over the place. He's a key part of our defense, and you know, when we draw up certain schemes every week, he's kind of a guy that, you know, we want the ball being bounced to him where he has a chance to make a tackle, and he made a lot of them Friday night.
Well, he sure did come through, and the whole defense. Earl and I even talked about making the whole defense the player of the game. You know, could have because of the way they play for the most part. Again, our sophomore, super soft, Jackson Wilson, 200-something yards. We could have named him player of the game. If we named an offensive player, it would have been him. He was offensive or player of the game last week, so we try to share the love a little bit, you know, with different players and all. But young sophomore, freshman, Jay Allen Taylor had a good game, I thought, and that jet sweep that he was running. And you got a lot of weapons there on offense. Aiden is still obviously not at 100%, but the line, again, for the most part, protected him. And when it did break down, he had to scramble. Nothing good happens when you're scrambling as a quarterback, and he dropped the ball a couple of times there. And but I think there's another tribute to your defense. We turned the ball over 3 times in the first quarter. They got 7 points, and that's when we give them the ball our 30. So again, the defense.
Well, you said earlier that the defense being the player of the game, you know, not just one particular player, and I will say it takes everyone. You know, there's a lot of times our D linemen are taking blockers out so the linebackers can make plays. I really think that LP and Knox, they make great plays, but 2 things. Number 1 is the defensive line's getting a little bit of pressure. Number 2, the secondary is doing a great job of not getting beat over the top, so they're having to throw those checkdowns. So it is a team defense. I mean, and that's something that we preach. It's not any individual. And that's offense, defense, special teams. Like, it's a team win. It's a team game, and that's the way we'll always take it. Talk about Jackson Wilson and Jay Allen, Terry having really good games. They did, and they're tough, hard-nosed runners. They use their speed, they're physical, they break tackles. But our offensive line is creating those holes. And I thought our offensive line, and really really Walker Valley and Cleveland game really stepped up. I mean, we've challenged them. It's a group that's got a lot of experience. We know that game's going to be relied on them in a game plan, and they're taking it on, and we challenge them every day. Coach Payne does a really good job of getting them ready, and you know, it starts up front, and those guys are doing a really good job. Now, you're not going to bust one every single play,
right,
but that's what our offense is. We're going to grind, and then, you know, you grind long enough, something's going to pop. The fortunate thing is, like you mentioned with Aiden, we've been able to kind of protect him. You know, there was a couple times that he did turn it over. Normally, I think in the past, if he's 100%, he probably gets away from most of those just scrambling with his speed. So I talked to him Sunday at film and practice, and he feels like he's pretty close to 100%. So it'd be nice we got to start spreading it out a little bit more. You know, it was no secret we protected him the last 2 weeks, but now we got to open it up a little bit, start throwing a little bit more, and obviously the run game will still be a key to us, but get our whole offense back and make us a little bit more potent for sure. Keep him
rolling and keep that defense playing the way they're playing, that hard-nosed defense that we always like to watch. Holding penalties. I hate to bring this up, but boy, we seem like we had the yardage that we gained netted, but we'd had so much more yards if we hadn't had those holding, because we had some big plays when they were called back. But that's a judgment call, and you could probably call holding about every play.
I think you can, and I think that's the way it's coached at all levels. If you're an offensive lineman, you get your hands in tight, and that's what you do. And it's unfortunate that you get a holding call every now and then, but it's part of the game. I thought it was some key drives that cost us and put us in long yardage situations, but a lot of it was aggression, you know, and we're going to coach the same way, and we're going to keep teaching our linemen to do the same thing. Not hold, don't get me wrong, but our kids are playing hard. You know, sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't, so we're not going to worry about the refs. They do their job. I really think they try to do the best thing they can, and that what they see is what they call. So we need to stick together and handle adversity when it happens, and I thought we did that. So I think even if you ask Coach Wheeler, it was a pretty sloppy game on both sides. You know, we had a lot of penalties. We had 3 turnovers in the second half. They have turnovers. So I think both teams didn't play their best. I'm happy we came away with a win, but we've got to improve to continue to have success.
Once again, the Bear Nation showed out a little bit there, and the players saluted them when the game's over, went over there to the stands, and that has a powerful impact because you guys hear them.
There's no doubt. I mean, it's loud on the sidelines, and that's fun. That's the kind of atmosphere you want to play in. And fortunately, our guys get to play in a lot of those atmospheres. I mean, you know, past 2 weeks have been that way. I would say it'll be this week against McMinn County. We got a lot of games coming down the road that it's going to be pretty crowded and great environments, and that's what high school football is about. I'm happy that we're where we're at, you know, here at Bradley, for our kids, for our coaches, for our fans, because it's a great atmosphere every Friday night.
We're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back and talk about the McMinn County Cherokees, the oldest rival we had, playing them for the 99th time this year. That's the second oldest rival. Midway and Rockwood started in 23. We started with McMinn in 27. Is the way we understand that. That's what the documentation shows. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk about the 5th-ranked Bears now. Number 5 in the state, 5th ranked in 6A, the Bears, taking on the Cherokees at McMinn County. Welcome back to the Coach Damon Floyd Show here. Talking about McMinn County. We talked about them being our oldest rival. Nobody else is close to that. 99 times we played them. We have the series lead of 54, 41, and 3. About 13 games over 500 with them. This group of seniors are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They owe them one.
Yeah.
We're going to McMinn County, and they would like nothing better than beat the unbeaten 5th-ranked Bears on their field. And you can bet they're going to pin back their ears. And do our players understand the significance of the rivalry from their point of view? I don't think they do.
And actually, when we had film session and workouts this morning, I talked to the team about that exact thing. Is look, McMinn hates us.
Yes,
that we are their biggest rival. Like if they beat us, that's what they want to do. You know, every season we owe them from the last 2 years. You know, we didn't play very well the last 2 years, and quite honestly, it was on defense, because offense, we scored enough points to win the game, and defense, we couldn't tackle Jalen Hunt, and we got pushed around up front. So we talked about those exact things, and I told him, I said, look, this is going to be the last week that I'm telling you we got a rival. You know, I know they're tired of hearing it because it's been 3 straight weeks of it's going to be an intense, heated rival, but this is the last one for a while. I mean, we'll play Hardin Valley next week, but it's not a rival game. So we're trying to prepare them and get our kids mentally ready. I mean, if you're being honest in reality, it's been a long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I hope we don't have a letdown.
Especially on you and the staff.
It's just it's an intense 2 weeks. And there's no other way to put it. You know, there's a lot of pride on line, but there's a lot of emotion that go in it, and it'll drain you physically and mentally. So, you know, we gave the kids off on Labor Day. We brought them in on Sunday in practice, try to give them a little bit of a break. And then, you know, today we'll have a big practice. And Tuesday is what we call our work day. So they got to be ready to work today, because this is obviously another big game, because it's the next one. It's not a region game anymore, but it's McMinn County. And we're going to do our best to make sure we stress that this is an important one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is. You're in your 16th year. Bo Cagle, McMinn County's in his 15th year. You by far are the two deans of the region. Well, he's not in our region anymore, but he's around this area. He's one of the deans. It's a matchup of veteran coaches. Both are going to have them well prepared. There's no secrets. You see their games on Huddle. They see our games on Huddle. They know exactly what we're going to try to do to execute. We know what they're going to try to do. Yeah. But they lost a lot of players. Jalen Hunt, you mentioned, thank goodness he graduated. Yeah. Bryce Goodner, thank goodness he graduated. Some studs they had on that. Has he changed his offense much? Because he's got his quarterback back with sophomore of the year for the region.
No, their offense is the same. As a matter of fact, there's still a Hunt running the ball. It's his little brother.
Oh, my goodness.
So he didn't play football last year. Bo got him to come out, and, you know, he's a basketball player. He's really quick, really fast. So we'll have a hard time containing him. The quarterback's back. It runs through him on offense. Defensively, they're always the most sound defense you're going to face year in, year out. You know what they're doing. But they do it really well. So, yeah, there's no secrets. We went against each other so many times. They know what we like. We know what they like. Yeah. Now the kids don't, but from a coaching standpoint, you know what we got to try to slow down. You know how to attack them. And once again, it's about a matter of execution. You know, offense, defense, special teams. There's no secrets these days in football. And I mean, you have a wrinkle here and there. You just hope, you know, if you're defending that wrinkle, you hope they don't score. You know, if it's a first down, it's not the end of the world. But you know, at the end of the day, you got to go out for 4 quarters and execute. It's about blocking and tackling, and hopefully no penalties, no turnovers. You know, we stress that stuff all the time, and it's like we have way too many penalties, way too many turnovers. So we've got to fix that, or, you know, it's not really going to matter what our technique is. Yeah.
Well, and I hate to bring stuff like this up, but Johnny Mullinax, you know, Mullinax passed away, and he passed away just last month, I guess it was, seems like.
Yeah.
And he's going to be missed. I mean, he wasn't coaching there. He coached there for 18, 20 years. He went to Georgia, came back to Tellico Plains, finally retired. And he was at our
7-on-7
game up there.
In 5-way scrimmage, because we held it there this year. And, you know,
passed away the next night.
Got to play against him when he was coaching at McMinn. And ever since I've been coaching, you know, the Bradley-McMinn rivalry's big and intense, and they don't like us. But I can say, honestly, every time I saw him pre-games, the scrimmages that we had with him, he was one of the first ones to come up and just ask how I'm doing, and so really a nice guy. I mean, he, you know, obviously he's a competitor and he's got tons of wins. And when he was the head coach in McMinn County, but I think he really respected the game of football, and he respected the other coaches that were around, and I appreciate him showing me respect. And you know, he didn't have to talk to me. Mm-hmm. He's a legend, and he didn't have to say anything to me, but he always asked how I was doing and kind of went out of his way to do it, and I appreciate that.
Well, one more thing, and I'll let you go. I know you got things you got to do. Our new field is going to be complete this week, and it looks spectacular. Yeah. And I know you got to be thrilled to death to see it, and finally going to see it. You know. And
well, and you know, I've talked. One of the cool things is all the people that came through, and you've seen it every day. But the people that would stop, and you know they're looking at the field, or the people that you see sitting in the stands watching the field transform, or the process of the transformation. And how many people I got texts from, and the blood and the sweat and the tears that they spent on that field. The other thing was, I was talking to a couple coaches the other day, is, you know, some of our newer coaches, they don't, you're getting a turf field. They don't realize the process that we've went through for the past, you know, for me personally, 16 years of wanting something like this. So it's awesome to see it come to fruition. Once again, I thank Dr. Cash and our school board members for making this happen. But it's going to be nice. I think our kids are ready to go out and practice on it. So I think tomorrow is the official day that will be the first practice on it, and we're excited. And it actually looks better than I thought it was going to look. I mean, we knew it was going to look good, but that black and gold, man, it pops. And it's I don't think there's a better setting in high school football. Well,
tip of the cap to Kyle Page. He's overseeing that. Yes. And he said he will make sure everything is perfectly done to his satisfaction, and therefore it'll be the way it needs to be. And
I'm glad you brought Kyle up, because he spent a lot of his own hours off the clock, making sure everything's done, making sure it's on target, and then it's done right. So, as a matter of fact, I just walked up from the field, and he was down there with him again. So he's done an unbelievable job for us, and I think he did for Walker Valley as well. So we really do appreciate Kyle Page and all the efforts he's put into both these fields.
And folks, we'll see that field next Friday night as we host our first game of the year at home with Hardin Valley here. That's also homecoming night, so be ready for that. We'll have a special ceremony at 6:30 prior to the game to celebrate the new field. There'll be some dignitaries, politicians, and office holders here. A lot of those folks need to be thanked, and we certainly appreciate them, as Damon said. And it's just going to be a fun night, a really big fun night. We're finally going to see that turf on our field. Until next time, we'd like to say thanks, Coach, for being here. You've heard this program brought to you by Bank of Cleveland. We appreciate them, again, being the sponsor for our coach interview. Until next time, God bless and go Bears.